2013 is the year we're going to look at today on the Sunday Footy Show, and it was the year of the Hawks started their dynasty. 3 in a row, Hawthorn. It was a tight affair. Fremantle, I'll never forget the prelim final they played against the Sydney Swans. Their pressure was enormous. Jack Gunston still doing great things. He kicked 4 goals in the grand final. Isaac Smith kicked a massive goal, and who would forget Brian Lake in his first year after leaving the Western Bulldogs goes on and wins the Norm Smith medal. So it was a good grand final, tight grand final. And then Hodgie and Alistair Clarkson win the first of their 3 in a row. Absolutely sensational. The marking goal of the year, Jamie Elliott, still doing great things all these years on, Kane.
Yeah.
Were you playing this?
I was right behind that.
Behind it.
You'll see me come through the back there. There I am with Swanee.
Yeah.
That was a bird's eye view of that absolute hanger. He's had an enormous year, and you have to think if he didn't have the injury worries, then what a player he could have been. And this is the goal of the year, Llordo.
Look at that. That's like Tim Watson back in the 80s when he jumped over.
Look at the score at the time.
Look at the time, yeah. What a player. I hope he goes around one more time because I think he's playing good enough football to do it. Buddy Franklin, another goal of the year, which we saw him win one a year or so ago.
Gary Ablett Jr. won his 2nd Brownlow medal. What a season it was. The reason I love this season, because a lot of people said when he left Geelong, he won't have the help of the stars around him and the experienced players. It did look after him a lot. He was one out in that midfield at Gold Coast, and the numbers that year, he averaged 31. He kicked 1.3 goals per game on average for a midfielder and 6 clearances. Still to this day, one of the hardest players you could ever play on. The way that he could read the play and hunt the footy and his work rate, exceptional. What a player. Probably, the best player of my generation that I've seen, I think.
And of course, you talk about the hardness, and it was a pretty hard day for Geelong fans when he returned to Kardinia Park for the first time wearing a Suns jumper. This was in round 10, and have a look at this from the pocket, an absolute majestic goal, a miracle goal, just absolutely brilliant. And even Geelong supporters had to applaud the great man for that great piece of work. And I guess even then, running around in a Suns jumper, he was still very much regarded as one of their own, wasn't he?
How good.
Unbelievable. And Llordo, we saw a few moments ago Joe Watson presenting the Brownlow medal for that year to, obviously, Gary Ablett. It wasn't a good year for Joe. He had the Brownlows subsequent to this period being taken away from him. But James Hird there, David Evans, the coach, Ian Robson, all appearing in front of the media to attempt to explain the drugs saga that engulfed the footy club and had been administered by the club prior to that. Stephen Dank was the central figure to it. Mark Thompson was obviously involved.
I can't believe it's nearly 10 years ago.
It's strange to think.
It is unbelievable.
Yeah, given it was 2012 when it was underway in 2013.
When you broke it.
Yeah.
There's some thrilling finishes, and let's have a look at Angus Monfries, who got the ball going at right. This is Nat Newey first of all. Nat Newey takes a big mark, kicks the goal after the siren. They win this game by 2 points. So Nat Newey, what a finish there. And this was the miracle on grass, obviously. So coming up, they marked the football through Ash McGrath, and then a big long kick from outside 50. That is a super kick. And again, Hutto nailed the commentary. TJ, your favourite commentator. And this is Monfries. This is late in the game. 1:36 to go. And have a look at this bounce for Monfries. They just don't happen every day. And it comes back and they win that game.
Hey, Brownie, 2013, we also saw some amazing finals. It was a great final series leading up to that grand final. And this one was one of the great finals wins. Geelong don't lose down there. And Ross Lyon went down there, took his side. Stephen Hill probably played the best game I've ever seen him play, and this was the sealer. And that's where the "you're quite brilliant" line happened, where Shane McInnes asked a few questions of Ross and he didn't like it. Carlton weren't meant to play in the finals because Essendon finished 8th. Carlton took their spot and went on and won, and this was one of the great prelims you ever likely to see. Burgoyne puts them in front and they go on and play in the grand final and win it.
It was a season of instability for coaches. 6 of them copped it from their particular footy clubs. Obviously, Mark Neild, after a horrendous loss there to Geelong during the season. Scott Waters only lasted 2 years when the Saints players had enough of him. Michael Voss's time, 5 years of coaching Brisbane, came to an end. John Worsfold, the great John Worsfold's coaching time at West Coast finished. Adam Simpson took over. You also had Sheedy's time being up as a giant coach. He was always only going to do the couple of years. He did that, and then James Hird obviously was a victim of the entire drugs saga in that period there for Saints. It wasn't a great time for that man, Scott Waters, or the club.
No. All right, good work, mate. Llordo's deep dive there. It was the year 2013. I know we're tight for time, but very quickly, just want to send out a very big cheerio to one of our most loyal viewers, Floss Jackson. Now, Floss is 89 years of age, lives at Phillip Island, and is a mad Western Bulldogs fan. So say hello to Floss.
G'day, Floss.
And thanks for watching the show. That was from the heart, mate. Thank you. All right.